Your number one source for long-lasting, fast-acting, physician-approved adultitis relief.
On this show, we're beginning a 4-part series about having the best summer ever. And we have a big announcement about Jason's first ever children's book, The Penguin Who Flew.
Greetings and salutations, everyone. This episode is brought to you by people like Dick and Linda Todd and Amy and Steve Allison. Their membership in the Wonder and Whimsy Society supports us in this work to fight adultitis. Thank you, guys.
Yes, if you'd like to annihilate the adultitis in your life, learn more about the Wonder and Whimsy Society, or be among the first to know about our newest offerings, become an insider at escapeadulthood.com/subscribe.
Yes.
Happy June, everyone. Good to see everybody. Oh, it's so good to see your smiling faces.
It's pretty rad.
I know. And I saw Rich said he's got his drawing pad and vanilla ice cream with strawberries and chocolate shake, which sounds delicious. Oh, yeah. And now he's just making us hungry. Look at him. He's like,
yes. So we're trying something a little bit different tonight against my better judgment. We have the live studio audience here on Zoom. But we also are streaming this live on our Facebook page as well. So
technology
decided to try that 15 minutes ago, and we'll see how that works. But yeah, so far so good. We will.
I love how Angela and Brenda both laughed and be like, "Of course they're tinkering, right?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Why not? I mean,
yeah. If the show's going to go down, just have it go down in amazing flames. As I'm managing even more things as I go through this. But let us, let me set the table
right here. Ta-da!
Look at that. Look at that production value.
I know, you guys. We have a huge announcement to make at the end of the show about The Penguin Who Flew, which is long anticipated. So stick around because you don't want to miss what we're about to share.
Just want to give a little shout out to Jenna. I just made you a co-host in the Zoom in case I miss anybody that's coming in, so you should be able to let them in. But yeah, we're excited about this announcement we'll share towards the end of the show. But we really want to focus on summer, even though it doesn't feel a lot like...
It's 56 degrees here in Sheboygan right now. It's time to talk about summer.
It's not fair. But let's get into it.
Life moves pretty fast. You don't stop and look around once in a while, you could miss it.
All right, you guys. So summertime is upon us, and we are kicking off our first in a 4-part series about how to have the best summer ever. That's kind of the goal here. We thought it'd be kind of fun. Right. We haven't. The last Escape Adulthood live we did was after the Festival of Shenanigans, which was a rousing success. But it's been a hot minute, and so we're like, well, let's do some fun in the summer here, right?
Yes, and we've always been the type of people that want to have like a summer bucket list, which you're going to talk about, but you actually have to do it. So Jason's going to give us some inspiration to buckle down a little bit tonight. Yeah, so each of our 4 shows in the next 4 weeks have a theme. Tonight's theme is really kind of the idea of a life portfolio. And if you've ever heard me speak before, there's a good chance you've heard me talk about this. There's different kinds of portfolios in life. We have, of course, a financial portfolio that many people are familiar with stocks and bonds and investments and all that kind of thing. And of course, you want that to be as valuable as possible. You always want that to be rising in value, right? And then as an artist, I went to art school, so I'm very familiar with the different kind of portfolio. Back in the day, I went to Northern Illinois University. I had this big, giant leather, well, it was fake leather, let's be honest, case that had my artwork in it. Some of you saw it when you visited our studio for the family, true. The Wonder Whimsy, right? I know he had it out so you can kind of look at it. Well, that thing, and I had various sizes, but I'll tell you, Northern Illinois University is known for its wind because it's right in the middle of the cornfields, basically. And so walking to class, if it was windy, that thing was like a sail, and it just fly up, right? So anyway, that's a different kind of portfolio. And in that case, usually your portfolio that you have has your best work, your greatest hits. I remember in my early days as an illustrator,
driving to Chicago, meeting with advertising agencies, and bringing my portfolio to show them, and flipping through the pages and hoping that they would be like, "Oh my gosh, where God sent this guy from heaven? We've been looking for him
like
forever."
Music,
yes,
the choir.
Yeah, just like this is the greatest artist we've ever seen in our life. I don't remember that happening, but in my head, that's how it was supposed to go. So anyway, a life portfolio, I think, is kind of a combination. It's a collection of your greatest hits, and you hope it's pretty valuable. And it turns out that some of the most valuable things that we collect along the way are our memories and the best moments we have with the people we care about. And so I think a summer is a perfect time to really think about that, because even though for many of us it seems like it's supposed to slow down, it's just a different kind of busy a lot of times, right? We have picnics and graduations and different things that we are excited to do, vacations, but it is a different vibe. And so just the different vibiness, if that's a word, gives us an opportunity to kind of reflect. And when you're thinking about best summer ever, this is what I think it comes down to. Intention. All right? You can go to Europe, you can go to Disney World, you can go to Hawaii, you can do all kinds of things with money, but the best summer ever has to do with intention. And so that's kind of what we want to talk about here tonight a little bit. And
Can I jump in first?
Yeah, go ahead.
The best summer ever from your childhood probably didn't have a lot to do with money at all. So that's kind of an interesting thing to reflect on, is when you look back with nostalgic thought processes, you're not like, sometimes it's the Disney trip. Right. Sometimes it's like that big thing, but most of the time it's not.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a neat thing to think about.
Yeah, one example, one of the things that we have done since we moved to Sheboygan, and we are close to Lake Michigan here, we have made it an intention every summer, starting at Memorial Day through usually a little bit after Labor Day, is we take every Friday afternoon as a beach day. And let me tell you, that's hard sometimes, because sometimes the weeks are pretty hard, a lot of stuff going on. It's really hard to sacrifice sometimes.
It's not hard for the kids.
No, it's not. But for us, mom and dad, it's like,
I need that day.
Squeeze all that productivity that you can. And of course, sometimes you get a rainy day. We can't always control the weather. Unfortunately, not every single Friday afternoon in the summer is great. So in those days, we still take the day. We just spend it doing other things as a family. But that's been a thing we've been very clear out. And one of the things that we do is we actually put that in our calendar. Every Friday is beach day. So it reminds us that we do, in fact, have a commitment. One of the things I was reminded by Ginny a couple days ago is she requested that we make a summer bucket list. Mm-hmm. And I realized we had not yet made one this year, partially because summer has been so long in coming here in Sheboygan. I don't know what the deal is. We had some hot days this weekend. Now it's cooler again. So it hasn't really felt like summer. No. But I wanted to pull up something that was kind of fun. We made back in 2000, I think it says on here, 2012. We made a summer bucket list as a family, and this was when Lucy was little, Ben was just a baby, and we came up with a list of things we wanted to. This is when we lived back in Madison, and you can see some of the things. Now, of course, I made it, creative because I'm an artist nerd, but concerts on the square.
I thought I did all those drawings. That wasn't mine.
Good. Maybe it was.
How do we remember? It was so long ago.
It's hard to know for sure. But it was kind of fun looking back at these things. And I'm trying to think if we actually even did all of them. I'm pretty sure we did most of them. Yeah. But you look at some of the things.
We didn't find a four-leaf clover.
No, that might have been one thing. Concerts on the Square, that was a thing that Madison is known for that we really enjoyed while we were there. Yeah. Flying a Kite with Lucy. Was on there. This was a good one. Leave a big tip for a street musician.
That's one good thing about Madison. You get a lot of street musicians down by the Capitol and State Street. Yeah.
Going to the farmer's market. Making pasta from scratch. That was on the list. So you can see a couple of things there. But invent an ice cream flavor. We did that. We invented Crunchberry ice cream. Captain Crunchberry ice cream. That was. Yeah, it's pretty good. I gotta say, if you look on our blog, you can find the recipe for that. We shared it, and had pictures
pretty
back
sure
in the day.
just crunching up crunch berries and some
There's
vanilla
some
ice cream.
subtleties there, Kim. There's seeping the milk with Captain Crunch.
Yeah,
You know,
did
there's
it.
This is next level stuff, you guys. It was good stuff. Anyhow, so here is the thing. When you want to have a best summer ever, like I said, it requires some intentionality. So I want to give everybody here like your first assignment. And I realize like we are technically, a month, a couple weeks into summer. I guess technically the first day of summer was only about a week ago. But this...
Oh, Jenna found the link. Jenna, you're
That's
right.
why we love her. I'm just happy I remembered it's actually there. She remembers stuff that I didn't remember doing in my life.
I had it already to go.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Here's your assignment, and this I think is a good one because it's not overwhelming. Okay, it's 10, 5, 1. Okay. What I want everyone to do, not right this minute, but in the tonight, tomorrow, when you're at work, supposed to be working, pull out a piece of paper. And maybe it's just you, maybe it's your sweetheart, maybe it's your whole family, and start to put together a summer bucket list, okay? So 10 means you can only have 10 items, all right? Just put 10 things on there. The temptation will be to put 150 things on there of everything you've ever wanted to do for a summer and like overwhelming, right? So just 10, okay? That's the 10. The 5 is 5 of those things have to be no cost whatsoever, right? So you can do some things, but like in the case of the summer concerts, that didn't cost any money. I think if I remember on there, the bucket list was like taking a nap with Ben when he was a baby with the window open and a breeze. It didn't cost any money. So 10 items on the summer bucket list. 5 have to be no money at all, and the 1 is do 1 a week. So again, we're already into summer.
Yeah.
If you do 1 a week starting this week, it'll bring you beginning of September. All right, so we're a little bit fudging into, but still, like, I'm not going to be mad at you if you do 2 in a week, but the goal is not to be overwhelmed, right? Because that's a lot of, like, it's one of the things that we hear a lot from Wonder and Whimsy Society members when we would give people, like, secret missions or challenges, and they're like, oh, I can't do it all. And it's like, you don't have to do it all. Like, pick and choose, and it's a choose your own adventure, right? So yeah, summer bucket list. Because again, if you want to have the best summer ever, it starts with intention. And creating a summer bucket list is a great way to do that. Just have 10 items. Make sure 5 of them don't cost any money at all, which tends to be, then it makes them more like simple usually, and then just do 1 a week, and that's a good start. And so we're going to kind of like continue on this theme a little bit, but I thought it would be kind of fun. We talked about sharing. This is where show and tell comes in, is I want to hear from you guys what were your summers like when you were a kid. So let's get into the show and tell segment here. Okay, so what is one of your favorite summertime memories from childhood? When we talk about a life portfolio and you're flipping back, some of us, you have to flick back pretty far. I'm looking at you, Rich. I'm looking at you, Fred. Okay. I'm looking at you, Walt.
Oh.
You got to go back a little bit, right? Helen's
you.
volunteering.
We're not far.
A lot of us have to go pretty far back. But I think of playing home run derby. We had a tennis court in our front yard. Basically, we were right next to a city park.
Must be nice.
And we'd play home run derby. It was great because it was all fenced in with this big tall fence. And so me and my friends and my brothers, we'd play home run derby. Those didn't cost any money, but we spent hours and hours doing that.
One of my biggest tools from my childhood summers was our red wagon. And I used that thing. I mean, it would just turn into like a new support system for me every single day, whether it was filled with stuffed animals or making bird nests or, whatever I was up to that day. That was kind of like what I used to get around the yard.
I like that. Well, I want to go Fred, who I already have picked on. Fred.
You're a good sport, Fred.
Yes, thanks for being a good sport. Let's make sure you're unmuted. There we go. What do you have a good memory from childhood?
Oh, yes. When I was in the 8 to 10 range, my dad wanted to move out of the city of Waukegan, which is on Lake Michigan, up out into the country. So on the west side of Waukegan was a drive-in theater. Our house was right across the gravel road, and my bedroom window looked out on the screen. So in the evenings,
That's awesome.
there would be 2 shows, and when people left the first show, they would take the speakers out of their window and just hang them up, and so I could watch the second show with sound. Okay, now that was incredible. But here's my crazy buddy and I. We would go over at least once a week with our little wagon, and we would pick up all the popsicle sticks that people dropped on the ground, and we would gather hundreds of popsicle sticks. We would bring them back home and make stuff out of them. Okay, so it was a diet. We only lived there a couple of years before we moved back into the city. But anyway, those 2 summers or 3 summers were just amazing with the drive-in theater.
That is so cool.
Does anyone else wish they were Fred when he was 8 or 10 years old? Like, I kind of just want to like pretend like I was you for a little bit. That's like, what? Do you remember like a movie that you're like, oh, I saw that in that summer?
I honestly don't remember the movies.
Yeah. Oh.
It was just the idea of being able to stay up until nearly midnight. And my parents didn't have any idea. I don't know, because my room had a door, and again the window just looked out onto the entire drive-in theater, and there was the movie screen out in front of me.
That's tremendous.
I know.
Yeah. Just the fact that there was drive-in movies, because those are becoming extinct. But yeah,
this was back around 1950, so it goes back a few years.
Well, and then my next question was like, were you watching R-rated movies? But was there really R-rated movies?
I don't know. Why?
No,
it's an interesting thing,
right? I mean, a lot of times now the second feature is a little bit more.
It's more
for
of the
adults.
grown-up version. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, no, this was the same movie twice, so I could watch it the first time and try to read lips, but it was easier just to do something else and then stay up and watch it the second time when I could hear the sound.
That's crazy.
That is the best memory ever. Thank you for sharing, Fred.
Yes, thank you. Thanks, Fred.
That's gonna be hard to top, you guys.
All right, let's go to Amy here, and
Hi,
she
Amy.
gets to try. Amy, what summer memory do you have to share with us?
So the summer between my 8th and 9th grade, I was home for one day, and it was the best summer. I was at my dad's house out east for 6 weeks. I learned how to sail a sailboat in the Charleston River. Then I went to Spanish camp for 2 weeks, Solamente Español for 2 weeks. And then they picked me up at Spanish camp, and we drove to Colorado camp, which is my family camp, which we have done forever. And I just wanted to tell you, you don't have to be a kid to have fun at summer camp, because my 80-year-old mom and my 2 80-year-old aunts still tent camp in the mountains of Colorado.
Wow.
That is amazing.
Every summer. So.
Wow.
I don't know which is my favorite part. It was just that I left in 8th grade. I came back. I was in 9th grade. It was so much fun. It was so busy. It was amazing.
That's awesome.
That's magical.
Yeah,
right?
That's great.
Oh,
thank you, Amy. That's
so good. I know your Colorado camp is such an important thing to your family, but to hear that special summer is really cool.
I found out this last year that where we camp, my grandfather, when he was 14 years old, they would just let him go on a horseback out into the mountains with his friends and camp for a week, and then they'd come back. Like, just at 14, they'd just go camp.
That's how it was. Yeah. Mm-hmm. We could actually go outside for like the whole day, and we'd be gone until supper time. I know, but I'm just saying that's how crazy it is now. Is you can't even let your kids go outside for a few hours, let alone go horseback riding.
We didn't see our parents the entire summer day. We were out all day. Yeah. Street lights coming on. If you weren't home before the street lights came on, you had to be home.
Yeah. I feel bad for whatever version of Escape Adulthood Live, whatever version of shows are 25 years ago when we have kids talking about their summers. What will they talk about? It'll be like, we spent our whole summer on a travel team going from one thing to the next. Like that.
We
like
spent
no.
our whole summer on a tablet.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, this is true, you guys.
It is hard. My daughter doesn't let her kids take their phones outside when they go outside to play because she has seen them sitting out on the basketball court on the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
addictive. It's built that way.
It's been engineered to do that. So it's hard to blame the kids, but it's a good again, intentionality, right?
The great thing about camping in the mountains of Colorado is there's no cell phone and or Wi-Fi. You have to not have your screen on. It's amazing.
That's cool.
The best way.
And I imagine how long it would take me to like do that phantom check for my phone before I would forget, you know? Yeah.
Right.
So thank you, Amy. Let's
Loved it. Thank you, Amy.
Let's see what Rich, you're up, Rich. What memory you got to share with us?
Well, I'm in the same age genre as everybody else here. Is every day in summer was spent outside. And either till the street lights came on or till I heard my mom ring the dinner bell. So
Legit.
I had a triangle on the back porch, and she would ring the triangle when it was time to come in for dinner.
That's awesome.
And it could be, racing popsicle sticks down the gutter after a rain, or simple creative things in the evenings, trying to catch fireflies. Our family vacations were to a relative's cattle ranch in southern Colorado, and so it was horseback riding and going out for picnics, and we found arrowheads. I have a whole collection of Indian arrowheads that came off of arrows. Getting up early in the morning to watch them milk the cows and separate the milk, in cream and sugar. Just the heavy milk and pasteurized, and it was just a simple, creative, outdoor, playing with friends, kind of stuff that I am sad that kids these days just don't have that kind of environment where that's feasible and possible. But yeah, Mom would turn us out and say, just be back by dinner, and we'd be gone all day.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting. And I think it's kind of cool, like, that's part of why we wanted to have this show is the concept of we can bring some of that back.
Yeah. Well, the word that comes to mind with yours, Rich, is freedom. Like, you had the freedom. You had more freedom in those summers than any kid today even could ever dream of, And it's like, right?
But we do resurrect some of those. Like Martha and I will sit out on our deck at night after dark and just watch the fireflies and be mesmerized by how magical they are. And I can't remember if we've mentioned this, but we learned that if you flash a bright light, it'll make the fireflies flash in unison.
What?
Really?
And so we actually drive our car down into the middle of a field behind our house. And that way you're also not getting eaten by mosquitoes. And then you just watch the fireflies, and then every once in a while you flick the brights, and then the fireflies just all go like that.
Really? Wow. Now I'm going to have to try that. There you go. Add that to the bucket list. There's a free item on the bucket list for you guys if you want to try that.
You have to have fireflies, though. Not everybody does.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank you, Rich.
Very
Appreciate
cool.
that.
Thank you for sharing, Mr. Rich.
Steven, who's not in New York City right now, I happen to know on good authority. But Steven, what memory do you want to share? Let's make sure you're unmuted. There we go.
I unmuted myself.
Good.
So I had several memorable ones, but one of the most memorable ones, we went to Thailand when whatever the math is, it was 1990. And we went to 3 different places throughout the country. And actually, I was highly amused because we lived in the Philippines at the time. So we had frequent flyer miles. And so we went the way that they told us to go.
Mm-hmm.
And so we went north to Seoul, south to Taipei, and then southwest to Bangkok. It was like way out of the way.
Oh. You have to know geography to
Yeah,
get this
I was
one.
gonna say.
I'm like, okay, sounds good
Yeah.
to me.
I mean, Seoul is way north of Manila, and then Taipei, Taiwan is like halfway between, and then Bangkok is to the west. It would have been, I think Bangkok is slightly northwest, like west-northwest of Manila. Anyway, it was just a very roundabout way, and then we did the reverse going back. I thought it was funny.
So your,
what?
I was gonna say, your childhood stories always involves world travel, which always gets everyone's attention,
Yeah.
Stephen. We're like, where were you when you were 9?
So what was your big memory of this that you want to share?
So, like, there were so many, but like we got to tour palaces in Bangkok, and we went to Hua Hin in the south, which has beaches, and they had jellyfish that washed up on the beach, and we had to be careful not to step on them because they can sting even if they're dead.
Good tip.
Wow.
And they had a hotel nearby where we were staying that we could walk to from the beach, and they had the way they sculpt fruit is like it could go in a museum if the fruit would keep, but it is stunning.
Wow.
Sometime look up Thai fruit. I don't know what the best search.
Yeah.
Thai food art, maybe. Anyway, and then we went to Chiang Mai in the north, which, like 1,000 years ago or something, I believe they said used to be the capital. And we went to a bunch of factories, and a local cab driver, well, it's kind of like a Jeep-ish thing, not exactly, but it functions as a cab. Anyway, he kind of adopted us and became our tour guide. And so he took us out several times, like just about every day. And he took us to places that aren't frequented by, or at least were then, by tourists. And we went to the old palace, the ruins, and it was really fascinating, and there was nobody there. And
That's
he
awesome.
said that his English was limited, but he said it was destroyed in an earthquake like 1,000 years ago. And my mom had her birthday there, and we took her to the biggest restaurant in the world, which is no longer there. I looked it up more recently, but they used, it's like over water, so it was like on planks, not planks, but like sort of like dock stuff, but it's kind of all over the place. And the waiters use roller skates to get around because it's so huge.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
And holding food and manipulating and not falling in the water, and it was amazing.
That's awesome, Stephen. What a
Oh, and we
unique.
rode elephants.
Then there,
throw that in. I mean, your bucket list, right?
All right. Well, that's I'm loading up my bucket list. I've got ride elephants, see palaces in Bangkok, and
And the elephants painted We got to see elephants make paintings.
There you
That
go.
is, wow. Thank you
Super
for
cool.
sharing.
Thank you,
Stephen.
yeah.
And elephant poop is green, and in case anyone's wondering.
Oh.
I was
He's got
not,
a good
but
memory.
thank you for sharing that. Let's move on quick. One more. We'll get to Sharon. Sharon, thank you for being with us tonight. You look delightful as always. What's your summertime memory?
Okay, well, this isn't a memory, but I didn't go to Thailand, but I spent a lot of summertime in Reno, Nevada, because my parents love to go there and gamble. Anyway, but my favorite summer memories are fishing for minnows, pollywogs, crawdads, and snails in our irrigation canals. And I used to put them in our calf and cow troughs on the farm. And they would grow to be really big. And my dad would get really mad because the snails would crawl up in the little faucet and plug it up, and he'd get really upset. Why would you just put snails in the troughs again? So that's how I spent a lot of my summers.
That's awesome.
Little Sharon getting in trouble.
Yep. Yeah, just thinking about tadpoles even brings back memories. Yeah.
Aww.
Super cool. Thank you, Sharon. Thank you, everybody, for sharing. And there's so many good ones on the comments here. Just simple things like squirt gun fights. Kimberly says, I plan to join an all-women's a cappella group starting tomorrow. I've always wanted to be part of a singing group, and I now have the chance and the courage to do it. That's awesome. Brenda says, Kool-Aid popsicles every day at 3 o'clock. That is a very specific memory. I love that.
That's almost like a rule. It's like, it's 3 o'clock. Got to get a popsicle.
Yeah,
I love
like that rule.
That's
it's
a
good
rule that you made
That's
up.
That's a rule you could instigate again. And then Katie says, riding horses everywhere in Colby, Wisconsin. And I got to get this one. Ghost in the Graveyard for Mary Beth.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Totally
Playing baseball. Good stuff.
Freaky.
Okay, so Kim, already, you guys, we talked, just as a recap, we talked about making a summer bucket list, 10 things on it, 5 things got to be free, do 1 thing a week. Already, there's some ideas here.
I hope you guys have a couple.
What else do you want to add to this?
Yeah, so I kind of went down this little mindset of nostalgia, as I kind of mentioned at the beginning of the show. So the idea of, like, as a kid, we did all these awesome things, but the coolest part about being a grown-up is that we can level them up now. So, for instance, we didn't live in a neighborhood that had an ice cream truck, but I always kind of fascinated about it as a kid, of like wishing an ice cream truck would go by. It never did, But we did have a box of popsicles often in the freezer, so there's that.
I think I just read the other day that part of the reason that makes ice cream trucks so magical is that you don't know when they're going to come. They're not predictable, right? So I think that's the oh, there it is. Yeah.
Yeah. I will say we've taken advantage with our own kids. I've kind of lived out what I didn't get as a kid because it wasn't like our parents didn't give us that. We just didn't have an ice cream truck around. But we lived in a neighborhood.
Still blame your parents somehow.
We lived in a neighborhood in Madison where an ice cream truck would go through, and Jenna has those memories of us like running out with the kids, and then you end up paying for it, and you're like, that was a ripoff, man, right? Yeah. As a grown-up. But anyway, I digress. So the idea of like when you're a grown-up, you can take these memories or maybe memories you wanted to have and totally elevate them into something even more cool. So for instance, the idea of like ice cream, whether it's having some friends over and doing like gelato tasting or maybe doing like a mega like banana split bar, where you just kind of go crazy with the sprinkles and go to Goodwill and get the ice cream dishes that are like $1 each and just kind of have a lot of fun with it and share that experience with your people. That would be kind of a neat way to level that one up. So another one is like I always wanted to stay up and watch the stars as a kid, but bedtimes, right? You're like, why do I always have to go to bed in the summer? It doesn't make sense. But I remember when we were dating, the neighborhood I did grow up in was pretty dark at night. And so, there would be times we'd be out on the driveway. I'm not going to talk about that, but, bring a blanket out and watch the stars. But you can kind of level that up as a grown-up too. And obviously the story that Rich just shared is taking it to a whole new level. But whether it's, trying to catch a firefly or bringing like a warm blanket out and some popcorn and just having the time and the presence to watch the stars or go to a destination where maybe you're going to see the northern lights or some of that intentionality of like, I'm going to actually watch the stars this summer and see, and maybe bring an app that helps you see what constellations are right ahead of you. We didn't have that as a kid.
That's true. There's some good things about technology.
Right? The other thing I loved to do as a kid is picnics. So I would do this in our yard all the time, kind of by myself, but we like to take a summer picnic with the kids. But the idea of like a state park, or maybe just buy some water, or just a local city park that maybe you just don't spend enough time in, pack a little picnic, or maybe go get your favorite lunch, from the nearby place and actually have a picnic, which kind of went along with the concerts on the square.
Yep.
Because that was
Kind of
always
built
like
in.
picnic dinner, which was pretty fun. So take your picnics to a whole new level. Or if you want to go to a thrift shop and get like a picnic basket or a blanket that's kind of special that you have just for picnics. All this can be done really cheaply, so that's kind of fun. All right, another one. This is one I always kind of like wanted to do, but I didn't have enough courage, is camping in the backyard. None of my family wanted to camp. We just weren't campers, but we did have a screened-in porch that I always was like, maybe I'll sleep out there, but I really just never did. And
didn't you try once and then you got scared and came back in?
Yeah. So, that's about the extent of my camping experience. So I never really, have the personal experience with camping, but the idea of glamping or a cabin, or just, I heard recently somebody who would camp in their on their trampoline, because it was like a raised up, and it was had a net or whatever. So it's like, if that's something that you did as a kid, maybe try to reinvent it and take it to a next level, because there are some really cool things like the campfires and the s'mores. Or if you have a musical bug, like singing songs by the campfire, that kind of stuff. So those are some pretty awesome things to bring back into your adulthood. All right, a couple more. This one goes along with more of your childhood, but like baseball. I see Jason and Ben out there playing catch all the time. And I do have memories of playing, we would play pickle back and forth.
Yeah, we would call it base runners.
Okay,
yeah, but
so same, like kind of like keep away almost with bases. But I always kind of had this like romanticized like pickup game kind of thing of like people playing baseball together. We never had that in the neighborhood I grew up in. But I do know of people who try to get together like once or twice a summer with friends to just play a baseball game, like to legit put bases down and just kind of, and don't take it too seriously. Maybe bring Cracker Jacks and hot dogs, or wear your favorite jersey from your team, that kind of thing. But
even just wiffle ball, right?
Oh, yeah.
You get into, yeah.
You don't have to have like legit baseball stuff, but I'm like, that would be really fun. I think our family would have a lot of fun doing that with some other families.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, that would be.
So, okay, two more. Water fights. So we've gotten pretty good with this one. I loved water fights as a kid, but we never really had guns, so we would use like old Dawn dish detergent things, or like other
poor
like,
man's squirt gun.
Shampoo bottles. I'd be like dumping shampoo out into like a bowl to get the container, and then it'd be all bubbly. So it wasn't ideal, but these days you could get pretty cheap guns at the dollar store or wherever.
Or those water balloons that blow up like 50 of them in one shot. Like that's, I'm pretty sure.
If you haven't done that, it's so rewarding.
Some say the internet, some say the light bulb. I would say that's the greatest invention of mankind.
If you've ever tried to put a thing on the nozzle and fill a water balloon, you have, and then it falls, and
If you know.
The multi-filling apparatuses are amazing. So yeah, water balloons, water guns, hoses. And this is definitely something to like arrange ahead of time, maybe have teams, maybe have music. We've done it the last few summers, like pretty epically, and it's well worth the intention to do that. And then it brings back so much laughter just right from your childhood immediately. All right, last one. I'm going to go with, I have a couple more here, but I'm going to pick my last one is retro game night. So the idea of like, as a kid, in the summer you had a little bit more time, we would play Uno for hours, you know? And so like, think of the games that you used to play as a kid and maybe go get it. Like get it on Amazon or go to a thrift shop and see what they have. And have a retro game night, like the old Monopoly or checkers or just something that you just haven't played in years and have that tactile experience of playing those games or maybe teach it to someone who never played that one. So that could be kind of fun. And of course, snacks. The level up, you know, as a kid, you're like, can I have the Pringles? And like, no, we're saving that. You know, so it's like, go get the snacks you want, you know.
Wow, some issues we got unresolved here.
Pringles were special.
We're saving the Pringles.
You couldn't just eat Pringles. That was like for the trip, you know. That was like
those
the
are
special
the
trip.
bougie chips, right?
Right. So anyway, those are my ideas.
All right. Well, that's great. So that is a good start, I think. And I would love to have anyone who makes their bucket list. I would love to see it. I'd love to have you email it to us, kj@escapeadulthood.com. There might be something in it for you if you send us your bucket list.
What's that mean?
I haven't decided yet. I just made that up right now. But I'd love to see that because I think, you know, again, sending it to us makes it more likely that you'll do something with it, right? Like to give it more of an action,
and
right?
maybe we'll get a good idea from it. So thank you for sharing.
Yes. Okay, so something kind of exciting I want to share with you guys. So as we mentioned at the top of the show, my very first children's book is coming out. And one of the things I'm kind of excited about are the... you know how DVDs, do you remember DVDs, kids? They would have like bonus features in them. Well, this children's book is going to have bonus features. So I would have loved this when I was a kid, and I would love it now if I as an adult. But there's going to be a QR code in the back of the book, and it's going to have all these like special features, including, so the artwork that I did was all done on my iPad. And one of the cool things about Procreate, which is the app that I use, is it automatically records the making of the art. So every single one of the illustrations in the book has a video of how it was made. Like if I would have had like Richard Scarry like videos, like not saying I'm Richard Scarry, but like any children's book that I loved, like to watch it was made. So that is actually going to be one of the little features that I can't wait to share with people. And I wanted to give you guys a sneak peek of one of them right now. So one of the dreams that is in the book, that Marty has a lot of these big dreams, and one of them is that one day he would live in a home that is painted bright red. And so this is one of the illustrations from the book that I want to share, and you'll get to see it starting from scratch.
It's a raining day, can't see the yellow lines anymore. The next exit has a church, then I know what I'm praying for. Set me free from the chains on my hands and feet I wear. It's like lusting for a woman who only wants a millionaire. She said, you know me, you can find me at the highway cone by the old payphone. I'm a kiss me once. She said, you know me, you can find me at the halfway cone by the old payphone. I'm a lover, not a runner, so I think I'll let you kiss me once. Yeah, it's 2:45 by the time I hit the hotel. Keys on the floor, falling deep into the cheap smell of 409 and knockoff pie. Phone starts to ring, but it's all in my mind. She said, you know me, you can find me at the halfway cone by the old payphone. I'm a lover, not a runner, so I think I'll let you kiss me once. She said, you know me, you can find me at the halfway cone by the old payphone. I'm a lover, not a runner, so I think I'll let you kiss me once. It was only a dream. It was all just a dream. It was only a dream, as real as it seemed. Just a dream. It was only a dream. It was all just a dream, as real as it seems. She said, you know me, you can find me at the halfway cone by the old payphone. I'm a lover, not a runner, so I think I'll let you kiss me once. She said, you know me, you can find me at the halfway cone by the old payphone. I'm a lover, not a runner, so I think I'll let you kiss me once.
There we go.
Wow. I have not seen that, you guys. That was so cool.
That was fun. Yeah. Yeah, it is. Jenna said, amazing how small, subtle things make a big impact on the visual. Yeah, at the end, you kind of can't tell what's going on. And then there's just like these little
there's like
baby
light,
pops.
and then like, oh, that's yellow now. And yeah.
Yeah.
That was cool.
Yeah, so one of the things that took me longer on the art was I ended up, because it was on the iPad, I wanted it to have more of a feeling of homemade texture kind of a thing. So I ended up scanning scrapbook paper with different textures that I then put in at the end and overlaid them. So at the very end there was like a snowflake paper that I overlaid to kind of add a little texture to it. So subtle, but adds a little, makes it feel a little bit more homemade, like collage-y, kind of scrapbooky thing.
Can I tell them about last night? Is that
yeah.
Okay, so last night, Jason, yesterday he finished laying out the book, and so last night he revealed it to the kids and I for the first time. Now, I've seen a few pages, and I've seen his behind-the-scenes stuff that you've probably seen, but the kids really haven't seen any of it. So we have the technology to put it up on the TV, from the computer or whatever. And so he went through and read the book to us last night for the first time, and I have to say, like, seeing the kids' reaction was just really, like, their faces were just priceless to see. And then we went through, because there's different things you can find, which I don't want to spoil things, but there's
Easter eggs.
There's Easter eggs in there, so we went through and tried to find them all, and then we could really see those textures he was talking about of like, whoa, look at the background and that. Because when you go through it the first time, you don't really notice all of it because you're just kind of taking in the story and the concept. So that was a pretty moving experience.
Yeah, I think that's one of the goals that I had of this book, which was very intimidating, but it's just like this idea of like wanting it to be something that could be potentially a kid's favorite book. And when I think of the favorite books I had, it was a lot of the books that have little details. I remember Richard Scarry would have like a little spider in his little monster books. So I did a version of that. And just, the little details, the little fun little things that hopefully make it fun for adults if they're reading it to kids, and make it something that kids look at with new eyes and stuff. So hopefully, I can't wait to share it with you guys, and a little bit more about that in a second. But I think that got me kind of fired up to draw. I don't know about you guys, but why don't you, if you have something to draw with and something to draw on, let's draw, you guys. No, yeah, because I'm going to do this. Okay. So let's let me get my little sheets. There we go. Okay, you guys. So we're going to keep with the summer theme here, and it's been a while. I hope we're maybe a little bit rusty.
Might have to sharpen your
me
pencil
more than anyone else. But this one's going to be kind of fun, I think. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with an S. Okay, and now watch how I do this S. You're going to want to make sure that you leave a lot of room at the bottom of the page when you do this, okay? So I'm going to start with an S, and the bottom of the S is going to be a little bit fatter, like that. Okay? Now what we're going to do is we're going to do number 4, and we're going to do a straight line down, and then a 4 like this. Okay. All right. Next up, we're going to do a little half circle, like that. Half, yeah. I guess it's not quite a circle, but a little bump. Okay. And then we're going to do another little line at the end here, just kind of like that. All right. And let's see. Now let's make a little baby straight line right there by that half circle that we drew. Okay. Now let's draw another line about like this. Okay. So far, so good. Now we're going to connect this to this.
How do you do that?
There you go, just like that.
Okay.
Now we're going to draw a little bump that goes from the back of that one line we drew, just a little bit like that. Don't go all the way to the S. Leave a little bit of space. All right, now it's definitely going to come together. If you haven't figured it out, we're going to draw a line that's going to kind of connect the top part all the way around back down here.
I think Stephen called it because he's kind of an expert at these.
Yeah, he does pretty good. All right, so we're going to draw a line here up at the top.
Oh, okay.
And we're going to draw another one and color it in. Okay. And then we'll put some feet on this guy. And that just kind of go one here. Like that. And needs some feathers. So we'll just draw some feathers there. And then a little eye. We think a little eye. Like that.
Cute.
And
they have weird faces, don't they?
Yeah. Well, I don't know why my
your colors are gone.
Oh, they're there. Okay. Like, I guess I won't be coloring this in. Now this is the fun part. Oop, I actually put this on the wrong thing. It's all right. The fun part is how often do you get to use like this real great like pink color,
flamingo
right?
color. Yeah.
I don't know if anyone happened to bring. I didn't really give any a heads up of like bring your hot pink crayons tonight, you guys. But I'm going to color this in.
Would you say a flamingo is pink, or would you say it's kind of more of a champagne kind of color?
Well,
we recently saw some in person, and I was really fascinated with the color.
There are different species, right?
Yeah, well, that's true.
Some of them are a little bit whiter, lighter.
Yeah.
You could say champagne, I suppose. I've also heard that they get their color from the shrimp that they eat, which I'm not sure if that's like a wives' tale, or if that's a real thing or not. Don't.
We'll never know.
It's impossible.
That's a real thing.
What was that, Rich? I hear Rich.
Real thing.
It's a real thing. Thank you.
All right.
Interesting. So let's see. A couple details I'll add in here just to make it a little bit more lifelike. As I'll put a little highlight. Oops, that's too big. Ooh. I'll put a little highlight here, and a little highlight here, and maybe on the top of the feathers there. And
that's so cute.
Yeah, and then we'll put so this is my trick from all the way back in the early days, is if you get a color slightly darker than the background for your shadow, and just kind of put a little scribble down there, then it gives it a little bit of a lifelike realism. Oh, you know what? There was one thing I forgot on her drawing. That's the other thing about flamingos, is they have these really knobby knees.
Oh, yeah.
So if you just draw a little, almost like a tinker toy.
Everybody else have knobby knees?
Yeah. There's your little, and I'm going to put a little highlight on his beak as well.
That's a good detail, the knobby knees.
Yeah,
it really is something
totally
that you're like,
that.
yeah, they do have that. You don't I don't remember it when I go to do it, but
there we go.
Cute.
I'll put a little.
I feel kind of gypped out because I don't know where our crayons went.
Crayons got hijacked somewhere.
I know.
All right. Well, we won't. Right. You could still show people.
All right. Let's see. I'm gonna put mine up, but then you guys have to put yours up. Okay. There's my little guy. Let's see what you got. Oh, Sharon had the pink.
Ooh, she did have the pink.
Yeah,
let's see. I see Marie. I see Angela. Good job. Walt, Mary Beth. Brenda had some color there too. Rich. I know Rich came prepared with his notebook. Good job, Helen.
Hey.
Heidi, great job. Good work, you guys. You guys are great pupils. Awesome.
You go to the head of the class. Was that a game or a show or something? Was that a board game? Head of the class.
Question. I think it might have been. I don't know. All right.
Jenna says yes.
What's next? Oh, we're getting to the end. So I guess it's time to talk a little bit about our little announcement.
All
so
right.
let's
do it.
And now, a word from our sponsors.
Wow, this really pulled out the big budget for tonight.
Well, where's the confetti? Oh, we didn't get that one going tonight.
No.
Okay.
That'll be for when it comes out. Okay. So yes. Well, you wanted to kind of give a little background on some stuff, right?
No, but by the way, before I forget, is it okay if I go back to this? Okay, send us your flamingo drawings, and somebody who sends the flamingo drawings, I'm gonna kind of put them in a hat, and you can win some Marty socks tonight. Now, many of the Wonder Whimsy members already have this, but you always need a new pair of socks too.
And I will I'll put up the email address later, but I actually had a segment for that, so we'll jump the gun a little bit. But that's okay. We let people know. Yeah. We got some people who could enter here.
Okay. Okay. So going back to the book, yes. So I mean, this is the funny part: is that Jason went to school for illustration, so. As soon as he started drawing Kim and Jason characters, 25, 30 years ago, people were like, when are you going to do a children's book? And he's like, this is for grown-ups, and, and then that would just constantly happen. So he was kind of like almost, I wouldn't say turned off from doing a children's book, but we were kind of always fighting that early in our career because we really wanted to help grown-ups.
Right. Well, and it didn't help that I broke the rule that books for adults shall not have pictures. And, so when people see books with pictures, they think it's for kids. And so I can only blame myself, really.
Right.
But,
we just always tried to make things harder than they needed to be,
yeah,
apparently.
that's kind of our MO.
So, long story short, it kind of came all the way back around when the Penguins book came out, because this was the first book that he started to really highlight his illustrations. And again, people would be like, oh, I'll give this to my kid. We're like, actually, it's for you. It's for grown-ups. But the idea,
which is always so weird to say grown-ups, because it sounds so weird. But then when you say it's for adults, it's almost like it's like
No, it's R-rated.
porn book or something like that. So there's no win. There's no winning here. That's all I can say.
So, long story short, when this came out, I think I had asked Jason, I'm like, what's his story? Because, I mean, this picture is really just connected to maybe one of the stories in here. And then that's it. So, the whole book is called Penguins Can't Fly, plus 39 other rules that don't exist, but we don't really know his story. So, that was 11 or 12 years ago that I asked that question as this book was coming out, 10 years ago. And it's taken 10 years, but it's been simmering. And I don't know if it was having the kids, reading all the books to the kids over the last 16 years or whatever it was, but all of a sudden he started to get this little itch to do a children's book and to tell Marty's story.
I've had this little manuscript sitting around for a long time. I remember sharing it with my book agent, Michelle, at a Pizzeria Uno. And I read it to her and she started crying. Like, it was like, this is really good. Like, so, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm glad you think it's good, So, and then it sat for another year or two. And in the meantime, I've probably had, no joke, like 50 people ask me if I could illustrate their children's book, which is a great compliment, but I'm like, I got way too many ideas in my own head.
I gotta do my book first
to do that. So finally, at long last, it's the finish line is upon us, and the book will officially be released on September 12th. The world premiere is going to happen at Wonder Night, which is in Sheboygan. Again, if you have a chance to snag tickets for that, it's going to be a pretty cool evening because it'll be the first time it'll be publicly visible for people to see. And I'm going to be reading the book live for the first time. And there's going to be at least 6 or 7 paintings that I've created that are not in the book, but are related to lessons from the book. Because there are, like, as I did this, there's a lot of autobiographical type of little pieces to it, and so
the paintings aren't penguin or cartoon. They're
just like my normal paintings, right? But yeah. Because I think like that's another thing is we're hoping to record the talk that I give. That's one of the goals we're working on, so that would also be one of the bonus features of the book itself, is to have this sort of keynote speech for adults and families to watch about going after your dreams, and what it takes and what I've learned along the way. So we're pretty excited about that, but we're also excited to announce that today is the first day that the book is actually available for pre-orders. And this is kind of a big deal. And we definitely need your help on this, because the pre-orders will help us get an idea of how many books we need to print. And it will help us hopefully cover some of the print run. That's always the big gamble when you do something like this. This is a pretty big initial investment. Luckily, I have so much experience. You guys have been this whole community has been such a great support that I'm not really that scared about it as I would have been maybe 10 or 15 years ago. But it is a not insignificant chunk of money. So the pre-orders definitely help with kind of getting things rolling. And to make it worth your while, we have some pretty cool bonuses that will not be around after the book is actually out. Yeah. So if you go to escapeadulthood.com/fly, you can learn all about it. Just wanted to give you a few little details. I think one of the biggest ones is the opportunity to personalize them, right?
Yes. So there's 3 different packages. And there's different, perks that come with the different packages. And was it for 5 books?
Yeah. Start this. You can just buy one.
Yes, you can get a book.
But then the second,
Jason
that's the solo
will sign
flight.
that book. Yep. So the solo flight package has 1 book, and Jason will sign it. And then if you get 5 books, just as a little thank you from us for investing a little bit more, Jason will personalize the books. So, and what that means is he'll put like Dream Big, Sarah, or Dream Big, Ginny or whatever. So the idea of like, if you have someone in your life that you'd like to give this book to and their name can be in it, not only will he autograph it, but it will be personalized. And then with that package, you also get
every book.
Every single book gets this cute little sticker, the I Can Fly sticker, which I think is adorable. I love how that turned out. And then let's see.
Every book also comes with a ticket to a workshop we're going to do called the Flying Lessons Workshop. So that's going to be a live virtual workshop, basically helping you uncover and go after your dream. And that'll be, like I said, it'll be live, but it will be recorded. So that would be a cool thing for individuals, for teams, for families, whatever. The date on that is not set, but everyone who gets a book will get a ticket to that. So that'll be exclusive only to pre-order people.
Yeah.
But yeah, the second tier is called the Flight Team Package, and that's 5 books. And you get a little bit of discount on the books. You get 5 stickers. All 5 books can be personalized with someone's name. And you get a really cool aviator patch. It's like a little embroidered Marty. It says Marty's flight
like
team.
Brenda's looking at it right now.
It's on the website. We don't actually have them made yet. It's kind of a mock-up, but it's pretty adorable. And then the Air Force package is like for the big help is 25 books. So that's good, if you got grandkids for Christmas, if you've got a team, if we also have a link in there of like, what would I do with 25 books? But that one, we saved a really, 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 really cool bonus on that
Wonder
one.
Whimsy saw this a couple nights ago, but we're still pretty excited about it,
but
guys.
This is a pillow. It's a squishy Marty pillow, super, super soft. I just want to like rub his belly.
Steven, your face is classic there, by the way.
This is just, yeah. This
is
is the
rad.
test one we got to make sure how it would look, and it's awesome.
And what's so cool, I didn't even know this, is last night when Jason was showing us the whole book, that this picture is in the book.
Yeah.
So he used this, this piece of art from the book to make the pillow, which is kind of cool. We're like, hey, is that the pillow? And he's like, yeah, that's the same picture for the pillow. So anyway, that's pretty rad.
Yeah, so pretty cool. If you are interested, please check it out. I really appreciate the support. We wanted to put some goodies in there to make it worth your while.
So there's 2 other things I want to tell you about the book that Jason may or may not want me to tell you, which, by the way, can I tell him? Hold on.
Sure.
Okay. So he worked really hard the last few months turning it into a rhyming book. Okay, because he was trying to remember, and I'm taking words out of your mouth, but as you've told me, your favorite books from childhood were rhyming. And quite honestly, when I'm reading, when I would read books to the kids as they were younger, they're more fun to read when you're rhyming along with it. So that was tough because he originally wrote the book without it rhyming, and then to change a book into rhyming is a significant amount of work, especially when you want it to sound whimsical and fun and playful and tell the story that you wanted to tell. So that took a great amount of work and some help with an editor.
I had some back and forth, knockdown, drag out fights with my editor, who didn't like certain things, and ultimately I conceded a few points on her, and then
and that's how the editing process works. It's good though.
It made it better. It better. There's no doubt about it.
So then the other thing that kind of came about, and obviously, as we've said, this is Marty's story. So why is he up with that balloon, and who are these people, and what's his story, and what is the story of Marty? So what's kind of cool how this is all shaken down, and do you want to tell more? Like I said,
I don't know what you're gonna say. So
I said like 2 weeks ago, I said, "Are you Marty?" Like who's Marty? So it was a really neat conversation because it really is the story of a dreamer. But you were pretty clear. You're like, it's everyone's story. Like it's your story. It's my story. It's the story of a dreamer. And I will tell you that last night when Jason read it to me and the kids, he couldn't get through it without crying because it's very personal. Because if you follow a dream and you go after it, it's very emotional. And there's highs and lows, and Marty's story is filled with highs and lows. So I'd say that because I'm like, wow, this is not just a children's book. This is a children's book written by Jason Kotecki. So it is so good, you guys. It is so good. It's not just whimsical and delightful, but it's heartwarming and inspiring. So I'm so excited about it. And the kids, I mean, I think their jaws were on the ground because of the story and the fact that it's rhyming. Just kind of blows your mind. So I think you leveled up here, Mr. I mean, you're known for your nonfiction and you're known for your speeches and your art and beautiful paintings, but somehow you took a children's book and just took it to a whole new level. So that's my endorsement. It was okay if I said that?
That's what I'm talking about.
No, that's good. Thank you. I appreciate that. I hope, I hope that comes across. Because it was I don't know that I realized what was coming out as I was working on it, and there was a lot of self-pressure because I just am such a big fan of the art of picture books. There are so many artists and writers that I love, and for something that is so few words, so few pages, I think people underestimate how difficult it can be, and to make something worthwhile. Now, whether or not I did that or not, I don't know, but it is it was a lot of pressure to that. I definitely would say, I was thinking about that today. Like, this is the hardest book I've ever worked on. So I'm definitely happy with how it turned out. It's got a couple little details I'm still working on, but I hope that you guys will enjoy it and appreciate any support.
The other question the kids had is, will it be the size of his traditional books? So you've noticed all of our books are the same size, because that's kind of a nice conform, kind of unity kind of thing between them. But no, it is not going to be this size. What's the size?
10 by 10.
Okay,
so more of a standard children's book size,
which is great because the pictures are so wonderful. You
like
want
the
them
day
to be
the day
bigger.
that crayons quit. That's one of our family favorites.
Yeah.
I think it's that size, and the dinosaurs love tacos. Isn't it those? I kind of use some of my favorite ones as
I want it to be like that.
Samples, what I was going for. So
cool. Well, thank you for letting us share all that news. I kind of, I just rambled on and on, but I'm very excited.
Yeah.
I'm excited to get the launch kicked off so we could just really anticipate getting it printed, and Wonder Night is going to be amazing.
It will be. And we'll share some more little behind the scenes things over the next 3 weeks, but we also have that giveaway. Let's get into that.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yes. I was like, are we doing something different? Yes. Remember, if you would like to get a chance to win these awesome penguin socks.
See, there's that.
Please email us your flamingo picture.
EscapeAdulthood.com, your flamingo picture, yes.
Yes. And it's not going to be the first person necessarily. I'll take everybody and put them in a hat. And then I will let you know, and we will get you these wonderful socks.
Yeah, and if you email us your bucket list, if you make a summer bucket list and email that to the same place, we might do a little random prize for that too. We'll see.
This has been fun.
Yes.
Are you guys going to come back next week? Because we have 4 or 3 more awesome shows. Remind us again what the topics are.
Do you have it? I don't.
That's okay.
Yeah, I'd have to. They're in the. In the league, they're in the league. So all of them are about having the best summer ever, but each one is going to kind of focus on a different topic. So this first one was about the portfolio and intentionality, and starting with that bucket list. And hopefully next week we can get some feedback and some reports on some of those things that got checked off your list. So
Yeah, if you miss this next week, Rich, don't worry. The replay will be available, so hopefully you can catch it when you get a chance. But it's fun to be back. We're excited to have EA Live kind of up for this little mini-series, as we're calling it. Thank you guys for joining us. Thanks to the people out in Facebook land. Who knows if you saw us, but maybe we're out there too.
And people that are watching the replay as well. We love having you guys watching, and thanks for being here. But that is it for this show. Until next time, Adultitis Fighters.
Shine on, spread whimsy, and be awesome. Take care, you guys.